for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
No! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello? I gotta tell you this, all right? I ran all the way here because I thought I would be talking to the common guy. Let me tell you something. Only because the guy is he's nuts. Mm-hmm. Every time I listen to the radio, that guy's nuts.
Well, it's good to hear. I'll have to pass along that you're a fan of the common man.
Well, I ain't necessarily a fan, but I want to tell the guy he's nuts. There's no room for crybabies in our world. There really isn't.
I love the common man.
Thanks. Yeah.
I love the common man.
All right, this is Don King talking about Bruno and Tyson, but give the common man the raise he so richly deserves. Don't lose him. Don't be standing on the dock of the bay when the ship is out to sea and the common man is on board. You better get on board. Don't be there crying and whining. Get him and keep him. Give him the raise that he deserves. Hey, who is Johnny King?
Talk about guys stealing from 1 to 3. You ought to pay that station to be on there.
Some kind of nasty.
It was a nice run.
Timberwolves superfan KFAN Stan Barreiro.
How do you like me now?
You know, this is the express lane, sir.
Thank you. How about a beer?
Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
I'm a fraud.
Yes. Well, truer words have never been speaks fault.
He's the clown from Brown. Yes. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Little ack to you and yours. This is... We're in that kind of a weather pattern. I call it a Calcutta. Swings up, down, lakefront influence, and then out, right? And it seems like it's always, weather has always kind of been a conversation starter. Somebody tried to do it to me this morning already. Boy, staying warm out there, huh? And I go, it's Minnesota.
That's what happens.
We get this. It's
Minnesota in January.
Yeah, I've been here pretty much my entire life. I moved here when, I think I brought this up before. My earliest memory of Minnesota was November 23rd or 4th, 1963. I remember we had a place in Brooklyn Park or Brooklyn Center, don't remember which, and I was with my mom watching the JFK funeral procession. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I just remember watching it. So I'm just going on 6 years old then, right? No, 5 years. I was just shy of 5 years. It's one of my first memories, the one I can really remember Minnesota. And then I was here until I turned 22, and then I went town to town, up and down the dial. Was gone for, I don't know, about 10 years, maybe not quite, because I came back for a portion of that 10-year radio, town to town, up and down the dial in the small market. So let's say about 6, 7 years, 8 years that I was gone. Otherwise, I've always been in Minnesota. It gets really cold in January. It does. I mean, now some years are different. Like this year, I thought it had been a fairly mild winter to this point. And now you look at it, I think, is it Thursday night into Friday morning, I think we're going to get to like 25 or 30 below. And then the high is only going to be like, 13, 14 below on Friday.
I'm already worried about school being canceled Friday.
Yeah, I think it probably will be. We'll miss you. We'll really miss you because you'll be out. And so you know what I'll do? I'll just walk a little faster from my car into my house. That's all. It's again. And I know it can be difficult if your pipes burst, heating goes out. I mean, and those things can happen. But I just, as a conversation starts, matter of fact, I'd rather talk about Vikings quarterback situation. Not really. But
speaking of ice cold, J.J. McCarthy's stats.
Wait, no, Tennessee, seriously. I was, where is it? No, I missed it. Hold on. I got to give you a little bit of this. Come on.
J.J. McCarthy's going to turn it around in year 3 because the quarterback whisperer is going to turn him into the next big-time quarterback. We're coming.
I saw a story, speaking of football, even though we weren't speaking. Well, we were kind of speaking about football. You brought up J.J. McCarthy. A number of new stadiums are being built. We're starting to get further and further away from outdoor football. I wish I would have saved the story. I bet I could look it up on Associated Press. You just go to Sports, Associated Press, and then scroll backwards, and usually it goes forever. And almost all the new stadiums being, like the one planned for Chicago, that's going to have a roof.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that Kansas City, they're moving to Kansas now, right across the border to Leavenworth or somewhere. They're going to have a roof on that one. I think the Bills stadium is going to remain open air, is it not? I think the Bills' new stadium is, but I could be wrong there. But I thought theirs was open air. But we're getting to the point where we have fewer and fewer.
They'll never put a roof on Lambeau.
No, never. I think there's some stadiums.
Their whole identity is the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
That is correct. I brought up Suan yesterday. He had 5 thoughts about posting. One of them, a couple I agreed with, a couple I didn't. One other, he said, he was saying you like football outdoors with all the snow and stuff, but he thinks it takes away from high-level play. And I do tend to agree with that. I mean, if you have temperatures like, that Rams-Bears game, it was harder to throw the football, harder to, it brought, but that being said, I still, and maybe it's just the old-timer in me, I still like, especially when I've got the fireplace on and I got my sweatshirt, my sweatpants on, and I got a blanket, and I've got my hot chocolate, and I'm watching the game. It's really nice not to be there. I like watching outdoor football when it's really cold.
I like the variety.
I do.
One of the things I like about Minnesota is we have a variety of weather. We have the 4 different seasons. I kind of like in the NFL, on any given day,
yes,
it could be slop, it could be mud, it could be wind.
Yeah. And that's where...
And you don't really get that in any other sports.
No.
Right? Hockey's the same conditions. Basketball, same conditions. Baseball, if it's raining, they won't play.
That's correct.
Like other than in golf, if it gets to, they have different weather conditions, but once it gets too extreme, we're out.
Yeah. A matter of fact, what they do is, you've seen it before too. The wind's blowing so hard, the ball is rolling on the green. That's it. Play is suspended. Too much rain. They'll play in the rain. But once the greens start to pool with water, they pull up. Horse racing, they run in the mud. I don't know if they've ever canceled a horse race because we've seen.
They take them off the turf.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I don't mind. And this weekend we have. Is New England or Denver at home? I don't even know.
Denver's at home.
Denver at home. I saw a story where this is the driest winter ever in Denver, Colorado, maybe in the history of Denver, Colorado. They don't have much snow cover at all. So unless something changes between now and Sunday, and that's with Denver. If the Calcutta, up, down, Lakefront influence and out, Denver can be cold one day and then it jumps to 60 the next day, right? So I don't know and then our other game is Seattle. And Seattle just seems to be, what'll that be? 40
It'll
degrees?
Be 45, 50. It's year round, yeah. There's nothing changes.
45, 50 degrees. 2 games with a lot of different storylines that we'll get into here over the next couple of days. We're not going to dwell on it, the entire show, day in, day out. But you have, it's a rubber match between Seattle and the Rams. It's a good rivalry. I don't know. It's probably not going to go down like Raiders Chiefs or Packers Bears, but there's a rivalry there, and you've got the Darnold story, right? And then you have Matty Stafford going after another big game. When do they announce the MVP? Do they do it at that NFL Honors?
Sure.
Because NFL Honors is when they announce everything, I think, including NFL Man of the Year. And I think, can you Google that? I think it's the week before the big game. I think they do NFL Honors the week before the big game, and award all the MVPs and Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and then the NFL Man.
The Thursday before the big game.
Yeah, NFL Man of the Year. They say most players want to win that award, Man of the Year. That's even better than MVP. It might not be. I don't know if you get bonus for Man of the Year, but I think I've heard, and maybe players just say that, but because that's like, you've done a lot for your community. It's more, you're bigger than just football, Tennessee. It's not just playing football. It's not just gridirons. It's not just tutties and figgies and patties. Those are extra points, not Mahomes. It's more than that. You're the Man of the Year. I think Burke won Man of the Year one time.
Sounds right.
I think he did. So I ran into him the other day. He's got a new company he's working with. He's one of those guys, too, that when they shake your hand, you ever meet those guys when they shake your hand, they always, I don't know why people want to get to the point where they almost break your hand.
They want to let you know who's boss.
I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Or let you know, I could, as the superstar Mike Morris used to say, I could pop your head like a pimple. Yeah, I know you could. But, so I saw Matty Burke the other day. Ran into him he's got a new business he's working with. We'll do Peek at the Purple, other side of the break. Oh, Rock Talk today. Brian Oak should be joining us at 1:15. I've got all sorts of topics, and I'm assuming you've got a rock rank.
Well,
Brian Oak will rank this, that, lat. You and I will chime in as well. And then the legendary one, Mark Rosen. My new favorite bit is my pal, my golfing buddy, has been keeping track of astonishing things that Mark Rosen says. He's not. I'm not going to do it every day. I'm sure we could probably fill all 2 hours every day with astonishing things Mark Rosen has said, but that's a new bit we're doing. So we got plenty to get to, including Peek at the Purple, the other side of the break. But as we go into break, Tennessee has a keyword for us.
The fan wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword GOLD at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is GOLD. Enter now at KFAN.com. Spend an evening with Jeff Foxworthy, known for his signature "You Might Be a Redneck" jokes. Don't miss out when the Grammy-nominated legend takes the stage at the Treasure Island Event Center on March 14th. Secure your tickets today at TICasino.com for a night of laughs.
My favorite Foxworthy bit is when he goes, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. And then he goes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. He starts pointing at everybody in the crowd.
I like when he says, get her done.
Yeah, and then the other one that's really good is when he goes, excuse me. And then my favorite bit that he does is, why is there air? So, yeah, you can see Jeff Foxworthy. Not the only comedy show that's doing well ticket-wise. We being Larry Mundella Guy Comedy Meets Us, have never had this large of an advanced sale of tickets in the history of Flop, Sweat, and Tears. You doubted us.
Are you selling them for like $2 or what?
No, trust me, they're pricey.
Is there nothing else to do in Rochester?
Why are you negative like that?
I'm just asking.
No, I mean, look, put it this way.
I'm a journalist.
Put it this way. There was a time that the price of the tickets that we were selling would be considered a pound of flesh and a pint of blood. Nowadays, arm and a leg. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's part of the comedy show you'll hear.
We're 20 days in now. How are you doing on your New Year's resolutions?
Oh, well, I just checked them the other day, and not only have I broken all of those, but 7 of the 10 commandments as well. I have a theory. We overstayed our welcome here in the Twin Cities. Are you familiar with a song called the Pina Colada song?
Oh, yeah.
My gal and I got tired of that same old dull routine. That's how you could describe Flop, Sweat, and Tears. That same old dull routine.
I always love that one.
And people that would come and see it would go, we've seen this before. There's no reason to go again. And, you can only milk a cow for so long. Bessie give, baby's got to live, right? Well, we've not been, this was the strategy. We have not been to Rochester in 7 years. So I would think most of the people that have bought tickets have never seen it and go, well, I guess I got to see what it's all about, right? I mean, if they're actually going to be here. Or the ones that, if there are repeat customers that were there the last time we were in Rochester, they're probably not going to remember it's the same act, right?
That's what I was going to say is you could either A, actually come up with new material, or B, go somewhere else where they haven't seen it yet. That's the option you guys took.
Well, right.
Which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean...
Can you do a show up in Winnipeg?
But I'd love to.
They listen here, don't they?
Here's what I'll tell you, though. I can guarantee you Jeff Foxworthy's not doing any new material. Jeff Foxworthy is doing whatever it was that got Jeff Foxworthy to be Jeff
It might be a redneck.
Yeah. And there's probably a few new lines here and there. But you kind of, it's like if you went to go see, does Weezer still perform? Are they active?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Weezer is going to play off their Blue album, or are they going to announce, we've come out with the White album, just like the Beatles, and here's what we have for it? They're going to play the hits, right? They might. Even the artists that continue to produce, this is the latest off our new album. How much did they play off their new album? They play 2 songs off their new album, and they play all the hits. So, and Meat Sauce has changed his up. When he used to say, you ever go to Target looking for a pair of athletic sauce and you come home with Home Alone 2 on Blu-ray DVD? Now he's changed it to, have you ever gone to get athletic socks and come home with Home Alone 3 on Blu-ray DVD? See, that's different. He's changed the bit. That's a different.
Do they still sell Blu-ray DVDs, by the way?
I don't know. He still does the same material, so I'm assuming so. Peek at the Purple brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. When the temps drop like they are now, Tennessee, people bring out those space heaters, and electrical problems come with that. Overloaded circuits, trip breakers, melting outlets. They're more common than you think. Keep your family safe all winter long with Affordable Electric. Their licensed electricians can add dedicated circuits, upgrade panels, and fix dangerous wiring before it becomes an emergency. Stay warm and, more importantly, stay safe. 612-331 Volt or affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. And remember, Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. Weezer did come out with a white album. I didn't know that. Somebody just said, do they have a white one?
I know they have a bunch of colors. I don't remember the white album.
Yeah.
They got blue, they got green, they got red.
My favorite, probably, I think the way the Beatles' White Album starts, the original White Album, I just love, it was 20 years ago today. Sgt. Pepper taught the band to play as good an opening song as you'll ever hear on an album, Beatles' White Album. Find it at a record store near you. Nothing really new as far as I know, tend to be on the Brian Flores, will he or won't he remain with the Minnesota Vikings. The latest story I saw, maybe you saw something different. The only story I saw was last evening, where it was a Pro Football Talk story. Josh Elper writes, Steelers complete in-person interview with Brian Flores. That's it. Completed the interview. He got in, he got out in person. And I think, did this story say it's yes, it says Steelers announced the completion of the interview on Tuesday with Brian Flores. It was the first in-person interview they have conducted during their search to find Mike Tomlin's successor. Pittsburgh has Chuck Noll was there as long as I can remember. When did the Pittsburgh Steelers become a team? Was that 19? Did they have somebody before Chuck Noll? They've only had like 3 or 4 coaches in the entire history of the franchise. Well, Tomlin's been there for how long now?
Well, like 20 years, and then Cowher before him,
right.
And then, Chuck Noll.
And Cowher was there for another, 10, 12, 13, 14, 6, 7 years. They when they get a coach, they find the right guys. And each one of those guys, Noel won 4 big games, Tomlin won, and Cowher won 1. So they've had coaches that have elevated them to win big games.
Since 1969, they've had 3 coaches, but they've had a total of, they started off as the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1933, changed the name of the Steelers during 1941.
Okay.
They've had like 16 coaches total.
Okay. I did not realize that they've been a franchise for that long. I'm not as up on my Pittsburgh Steelers or Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania NFL pro football teams as I once was. Not paying as close attention anyway. But yeah, in the last, how many years have they had just 3 coaches since Noel took over when?
1969.
Other teams go through them like, well, look at Mike.
He went 22 years. Cowher went 14 years, and then Tomlin 18 years.
Can you Google Lions coaches since 1969? Literally, it's. I bet they've had 20, 25 different coaches. That's probably a bit much, but I remember when I first started paying attention to football, Chuck Schmidt was their head coach. He had played linebacker for them, I believe. He was an ex-player.
So since 1969?
Yeah. Hard to count. Do you need a calculator?
19.
19, yeah. There you go.
Started off with Joe Schmidt. 1967.
Right.
Then Don McCafferty, Rick Forzano, Tommy Hudspeth, Monty Clark, Darrell Rogers, Wayne Fontes. Fonts, sorry. Bobby Ross, Gary Moeller. I don't even remember some of these names.
No,
I was watching, this is during my generation.
And they're my team. If you would have said...
I don't remember Bobby Ross.
If you would have said to me, who did Gary Moeller coach for, I would never have said it. And that's my club. I would have said, I don't know.
So Gary Moeller coached 7 games. I think he just took over. Bobby Ross must have been fired midseason. Yeah. Marty Morningweg, Steve Mariucci.
The Mooch.
Dick Duran. He only did 5 games. Rod Marinelli, Jim Schwartz, Jim Caldwell, Matt Patricia, Darrell Bevel, Robert Prince. So both Bevel and Prince were in 2020, and they both took over for Patricia and then Dan Campbell. It looks like Dan Campbell, 2021 to now, is one of the longest tenured coaches.
Mooch, if you'll remember, to me, his legacy of NFL coaches is ruining every NFL uniform he's ever come across. Both the 49ers and the Kitties, he added that black trim. He thought adding a touch of black on the uniforms was good. It's like,
you've got to be kidding me.
No, it's not. They're Honolulu blue and silver, and they're what would you call it, red and gold for San Francisco. That's their colors. Don't be adding black to it unless you're going to do all teams now. Like San Francisco when they played Seattle in their last regular season meeting. Did you see the black uniforms? I like those.
You did?
Yeah, I like those a lot. And and I'm kind of a purist. I don't really like when I know why they do the changes to sell more, in the pro shops. And I'm usually not one that's. I guess I like the color black, but I like the Lions all black uniforms with the black helmets and the Honolulu blue kitty on the helmet. So I do, but I love those San Francisco ones. But just to put black trim on it, don't bother. You ruin things. I'm still bitter about what he did to the Lions. I think that was the reason they didn't play so well with him. I'll peek at the purple. So we'll keep you posted as soon as we find out what happens to Brian Flores, or as soon as some listener says, hey, you knuckleheads, haven't you heard the news yet? And they tell us, we'll let you know. But that's Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. For all of your electrical needs, it's affordable-electric.com.
Monster Jam.
Monster Jam.
Rolls back into U.S. Bank Stadium February 7th and 8th, and we've got your tickets in. Check out the contest page at KFAN.com. See how you can win a family 4-pack of tickets to the February 7th show. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest. Enter today.
Couple 13-14 pass. Someone sent me a text courtesy of our Bradshaw Bryant KFAN text line, and it says, Mike Florio was on the Paul Allen Project today and said Beefalo will be staying with the Vikings. Not an official source, but his professional thoughts on Beefalo. Florio's pretty plugged in. He doesn't always get it right. Really, nobody really does, right? I mean, I would think that would be good news for the Vikings and their fans if he indeed did stay. He does seem to be one of the better defensive coordinators in the league. If you give him the players he likes and they do the things they need to do to make themselves good, his defense can be very maddening for offensive coordinators and quarterbacks on the other side of the ball. So, I mean, again, I know they have issues at the quarterback position. We're still up in the air there. That's in flux. There are those, I think, you have different camps. Everybody's got to be in a camp. There are those that still believe in J.J. McCarthy and don't think he's been given enough time. There are those that think we should abandon hope. And then there's people that kind of straddle the middle like me. That's like, well, yeah, I want to give him some more time, but I don't know how much time I want to give him. And that can be the danger too, tend to be is if let's say you start with McCarthy next year, and let's say 7, 8, 9, 6, 7 games, he's not very good. He's more of what we've seen already. Has his moments, but more bad. And then you do give up on him. Does he get better? Like Sammy Darnold eventually got a little bit better. But if you have a really good defense, you can get by with, I don't want to say subpar quarterback play, though I think you can. That's if your defense is really good. Like, I don't think C.J. Stroud had a very good year this year, right? I don't think
I was just going to say, you don't even need great quarterback play. You just need to make sure they're like not turning the ball over and like doing negative plays.
Because look at Stroud. Now, he had a great rookie year. Last 2 years haven't been as good. And look, I'm not paying as close to C.J. Stroud's career as I once did. I just saw the last 2 playoff games, and he was not good at all. I don't know if that was the way it was during the regular season, too. But that defense was so good. They started out 0-3, and then what was their final record? Were they 15-3 or 13-7? Whatever the record was. The 13 would be 5. I think they were 13-5. Lost just 2 more games along the way.
Like Denver's in a similar boat.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Bo Nix has been a little bit better than C.J. Stroud, but he's just kind of an okay starting quarterback.
Correct. So I think keeping that defensive coordinator might be because, and again, then who do you get? Rosen keeps bringing up the guy that he's allegedly tight with, that knows really well. He's done some things with him, maybe, I don't know what.
Durante Jones.
Yeah, Durante. Now, the story on him is if B-Flow were to go, that's the guy they'd want to have. I don't know what kind of defensive coordinator he could be. I don't know, It's like even when we were talking Detroit, they grabbed, was the guy's name Penzig? He used to be here, apparently. He was like he was one of the position coaches here, I think. These guys, you think radio people go town to town up and down the dial. These coaches, if I read a story on him, and if you look at his travels, I think he's coached for nearly every team in the National Football League. Now, I'm exaggerating, and so you never know for sure what you're going to get with these guys, especially if they've never actually been the guy. But sometimes that's better. Because I think all of us, after a while, you start going, the retread route. It's like, really, like the guy to me, and again, I think he's interviewing today. Mike McCarthy is interviewing with Pittsburgh. And, you've heard me say this 6, 7 times. Mike McCarthy knows football. You don't get to the position of being a head footballer. And he won a big game with Aaron. So you don't get to that point without knowing football X's and O's. But, we talk about chicken or egg. Is it the quarterback or is it the coach or is it both? And I think in more times than not, it's more quarterback than coach. And, McCarthy went to Dallas and nothing happened there. And if Pittsburgh wants him, good luck to you. I think I really would. If my choice was, if I'm running an organization and it's go with McCarthy or this guy that the Lions got to be offensive coordinator for, is it Penzig? Is that his name? However it's pronounced?
So.
Penzing. I'd go with Penzing. I'd rather go with somebody than, not Mike McCarthy. But there are a lot of retreads out there. You sent me the text, and then I looked up the story about the Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't really followed Baker Mayfield's career other than I remember he started with Cleveland, right? Didn't he?
Yes.
And he's been a couple of places since then. I had no idea he and Stefanski were arch enemies, or at least Baker Mayfield feels that way because there was somebody who was.
It was an Atlanta journalist.
Yeah,
an Atlanta writer.
And how did he write it? What did he say again? It was like a waste of time, or he basically dissed on.
So it was D. Orlando Ledbetter,
Okay.
who apparently is a Falcons beat writer. Doesn't say what newspaper he's with.
And Stefanski is now the coach of Atlanta. He just got the job.
Stefanski just got, and obviously he coached Baker Mayfield in Cleveland.
Correct.
And Ledbetter wrote, Falcons' Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. QB Shadur Sanders closed out last season with 7 starts. So then Baker quote tweeted it and said, failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see it twice a year, coach.
So I was, again, not aware of any of this. And was anybody aware that Mayfield was this bitter? Because this seems like I guess the quote could just be the newsworthy thing that we haven't heard it. I didn't know there was bad blood there.
He was okay in Cleveland. He was not, labeled as failed.
He and Stefanski took him to their first playoff game in 25 years? I mean, Mayfield was the number. I had forgotten. He was the number 1 pick overall in 2018. Yes. Now, what I didn't know, as I did a little bit more research. So, Myles Garrett was drafted in 2017 by Cleveland. Number 1 overall. Baker Mayfield was drafted number 1 overall by Cleveland in 20, because that's the years I think they went 1-15 and 0-16, right? Back-to-back years. They asked Mayfield. Now, he's teammates with Garrett, and he says, the number 1 pick overall should have been Pat Mahomes. And apparently, that's looked upon as, well, how do you say that when your guy on the team, the guy you're playing with was the number 1 pick overall? So I guess Mayfield's one of those guys that doesn't mind speaking his mind, right?
Sure.
And here's what it says. It goes, in late 2018, then Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield stated that while he loved his teammate Myles Garrett, he felt Pat Mahomes had the talent to warrant being the number 1 overall pick in the 2017 NFL draft, where the Bears instead selected Garrett. A comment made, what's that?
You said Bears, Browns.
Browns. Where the Browns instead selected Garrett, a comment made with hindsight as Mahomes found immediate superstar success, unlike the Browns' initial struggles with Mayfield. This acknowledgement came during Mayfield's own rookie year, fueling comparisons and highlighting the Browns' draft dilemma, though he respected both players and acknowledged Mahomes' unique ability. But I also read somewhere, too, here's what it says. It says, as the Browns prepared to play Mahomes, this was late October, early November of 2018. As the Browns prepared to play Mahomes and the Chiefs, Mayfield was praising Mahomes, a former college rival, ahead of their game, noting his incredible talent and ability to make impossible plays. And as I mentioned, the Browns ended up taking Garrett. Kansas City loved him so much, they jumped up, was it 20 spots or something like that, to get to 10, and they took Mahomes. Mayfield expressed admiration for Mahomes' athleticism, saying he could throw from any angle and extend plays, a view formed from college matchups. He acknowledged that talent-wise, I thought he should have been the number 1 pick, even while being a teammate of Garrett. It showed Mayfield's respect for Mahomes and highlighted the high stakes and difficulty of evaluating top quarterback talent, a theme that continued to resonate with the Browns' ongoing quarterback challenges. And I don't even know, he's not wrong. Was Baker Mayfield wrong? Should Pat Mahomes, talent-wise, been the number 1 pick overall in the National Football League draft?
I think his performance would justify that.
Now, you could say hindsight, but he claims, at least the story talks about how it's not like he just noticed that when he watched him play his rookie year, when he watched Mahomes play. He was a college rival. He saw Mahomes play football as a collegiate. Now, I didn't see anywhere if Myles Garrett was annoyed by that. I don't know if there was anything to be said. I don't even think it's that bad. Do you? They say, well, he deserved to be the number 1 pick. Well, now, again, if you're Myles Garrett, you would. Now, he's as good as it gets. But if you look at where these two careers, now part of it, of course, is Myles Garrett's playing for a terrible team. Cleveland hasn't been very good. But if I'm Myles Garrett, I'd say, yeah, you're right. He probably should have been the number one pick, but I was. Yeah, he should have been the number one. Now, especially using hindsight, I don't see how you could argue that. And if I'm his teammate, I wouldn't be annoyed by that. I really wouldn't. People get too touchy about those kinds of things. If Myles Garrett, I don't know if he was annoyed, but if he was, get over yourself. You're really good. But Pat Mahomes, last I checked, and Notorious D.I.G. told you and I this, we weren't aware of it. Quarterback's the most important position, not only in football, but probably in all of sports. So, yeah.
He's the best quarterback in his generation.
Yeah.
At the most important position in all sports.
So I just think it was truth. Now, Mayfield, an interesting case. So then, of course, as you look at some of the, after you sent that to me, they always have message boards, right, where people can respond. And there were people praising Mayfield. You know, it's like anything, you have critics and detractors, and you have supporters. I've always liked Mayfield as a quarterback. Now, this sort of goes with my Sam Darnold kind of a thing, too. You're going to get good and bad with Mayfield. He's not a perfect quarterback. There are going to be times where he doesn't play well. He's going to make bad decisions, this, that, and the other thing. Same thing with Sammy Darnold. I'll say what I've said for people. I know I repeat myself all the time. Pat Mahomes ain't available anymore, nor is Josh Allen or Joe. So you know what? You got to kind of go with who's available there. And I like Mayfield as a quarterback. And would he be my first choice? No. But I'd put him above a lot of other quarterbacks.
Sure.
In the league.
He's top half of the league.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think so. He's tough. He's gritty. His teammates seem to like him from everything I know. And well, maybe Myles Garrett didn't. I don't know. But you could do worse than a Baker Mayfield. And, you know, it is interesting. Now, Tampa Bay and Atlanta, same division. Well, that becomes almost must-see TV.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
To see.
I kind of like when these guys speak their minds a little bit.
I don't mind. Adds a little drama to it. You know, adds a different twist. I love storylines like that. I don't know if Stefanski is going to respond or not. And do I have this right? They decided, let me have my order correct. They decided to go away from Mayfield because they were able to get Deshaun Watson. No!
Well, yeah, obviously that did not work out.
No.
The Mayfield portion of it, if I recall, like he was competent his first couple of years there. He was better than most Cleveland Browns quarterbacks, no doubt. But I think they had that tough decision, right, when you draft a rookie quarterback, and he's fine, but now you got to throw over the big paycheck to him, and you don't know if he's going to be worth the big paycheck. So I think they made the decision of, well, we're going to cut bait now because we don't want to have to pay. We don't want to be locked up with Baker Mayfield for the next 4 or 5 years at X $1 million a year, and then we can't supplement the roster accordingly, and then I'm dead man walking as a head coach. So I don't blame them for letting him go.
Right.
But obviously their backup plan, now that was a failure. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution writer was correct about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you know, that's the thing. That is the tough decision that you have to make on these quarterbacks because, well, the Vikings made it on Darnold. Oh, sure, he had a really good year. The only year he played for us, and he 14-3, and yeah, he had the bad game against the Detroit, and the Rams game didn't go well. But I don't know if we want to give him that big contract and commit to him, particularly when we've drafted another guy, so they let him go. It's decisions made all the time on these quarterbacks. How long do you keep that quarterback? Darnold, they'd had enough of him in New York. They had enough of him in Carolina. How many other quarterbacks can you know, the Rams gave up on Goff, even though he got him to a big game. Now, for good reason, they were able to get Matt Stafford. They had to give up more than, it wasn't just quarterback for quarterback. They had to give Detroit a couple of first-round picks to get him. But
Carolina had Mayfield and Darnold on the same roster at the same time.
Right. So you do have to make a decision on the quarterback, and I don't think it's a stretch to say it's probably the most important decision a general manager / coach is going to make. You know, when they've got that quarterback where you're just not. I mean, right now the Vikings are tethered to McCarthy, but you know that you don't know how hard they're gripping that rope. That tether. You know, are they really holding on to it for dear life, or are they ready to do the tuck and roll? You know, we talk about the bandwagon all the time, where you're hanging on to that little subway strap, and you're just kind of on the you're running on the running board. You're just kind of waiting, and if you see it's about to careen off the cliff, you do the tuck and roll and get off. I'm really good at tucking and rolling off the bandwagon, and it's the same thing when you look at these QBs. It's like, how long are you going to keep yourself? I mean, you would never part ways with Josh Allen, I don't think, right? He's got so much talent. He can run, he can throw. Teammates love him. You know, he's meant everything to Buffalo and Bill's Mafia. But
by the way, the Buffalo owner and GM had a dumpster fire of a press conference today.
Oh, what did they do?
Oh, the owner.
I didn't hear
just revealing a little too much information. Because in Buffalo right now, they're going, why did you fire the head coach?
Right.
And you're giving the GM a raise when the GM didn't supplement the roster.
Right, correct. I've read that story.
He was bringing up, the owner brought up today, and the GM was trying to play it straight and cool and trying to be a professional.
Right.
And the owner's just like, they're talking about Keon Coleman, who's a wide receiver they drafted in the second round, was it 2 years ago? And he basically just acknowledged Brandon Beane, the GM, didn't want to draft him, but the coaches were all in on him, and so Brandon was being a good team guy. And it's like, well, Keon Coleman's still on your roster, and you're just publicly ripping him.
Yeah.
Trying to defend your GM.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I read.
And the owner also said that the reason the head coach was fired was basically just off the Denver game.
Yeah,
that's what led to his decision.
And here, that's the other thing. At the end of the day, we talk about this all the time. The final decision makers in any pro sports franchise is ownership, right? Unless they're completely hands off, unless they just go, you make the decisions, I'm running by me, but I'm not going to second guess you or anything like that. Well, you've got a lot of these people. Well, every one of them, most owners didn't. I guess Brady would be the exception. What does he own? 2% of the Raiders or 5%? He played pro football. Most of these owners never did. They've just been in business their whole life. So leaving them in charge of player personnel decisions or front office hirings and everything else, it can be a mess. It really can. Let's do this. Let's pause and come back. When we do, Tennessee has a little 5-3-4 for us. You got a tease?
Yeah, our Minnesota sports teams were all swept last night.